Welcome to HayArt Center. I'm very happy to see you here, especially the weather is good and you are with us. Great. And I will do lecture in English. I asked to do it, so just if you have some question, you can ask me in Russian also, just what is will be easy for everybody. And more or less, I will talk about my own artistic research and how I find myself being in digital art. I start like most of the people at the beginning. I graduated university like journalism, and after also I was doing in the parallel different kinds of the drawing, photography, painting, so just normal biography of artists. And at the same time I was very interested by technology. Very simple. Why? Because my grandfather, with whom I grew up, was a biochemist, and he was one of the persons who were developing different kinds of the conservative product, and was working also to develop food for cosmonauts. So just I was very proud when I was a kid and the people around me were eating normal food, and I have some kinds of the tube with a horrible puree, not really eatable, but it was something very nice to have. So technology, it was something for me that was not really some kind of the miracle, but just a tool. And second aspects of my research always was about psychology, because we propose like artists to our public to watch something, to contemplate, and people react, interact with our work. So they interact already, even without interaction like we know nowadays that it has some changing, because we are doing something. So just for me, interaction already exists without interacting. Only I watching you, I look at you, and we interact with our regards, just cross gaze. And but me, when I start working, I thought it will be really interesting somehow to make this interaction immediate. So that you do something, you make some gesture, you passing through, or you push some button, and the environment and sound, something changes at the same time, so your reaction is immediate. So for me, this is interactive art, when you making some action and you have feedback that you can question, because also that I would like ask different questions to myself and to the public who is inside of the installation about different kinds of the problems, because my idea always is trying to reflect what is around us at that moment and to bring it to think about. So one of the first installations that I've done, was very simple things, and this is like you see, this is 1997, so just one of the first installation. And at that time I was trying to do my own bricolage, so just construct myself different kinds of the sensor on the base of the, for example, we go inside and there is motion sensor and lights switch on. So this first installation I have done exactly on this sensor on VHS player and projection, video projector at that time. So it was very simple, what we see here. This is wall, exhibition hall, this is a podium, this is the door, and when we get inside of it, we see a big bed with a projection. But immediately, this is very simple, just there is two VHS player, and in between them a box with the motion detector. and it gives the signal, and it starts second play with the same movie but completely blurred up. So all the people who get in this very intimate, very nice environment with the nice music, but with something on the bed, they go around, they try to watch it, it doesn't work at all. So after they are trying the versions how to see it clear, and what they're doing, they go back, and when they stand on another side of the wall, there is a podium, so they can watch the movie. So they become some sort of the voyeurist who is watching what is happening. And in the same time, all this projection of watching people is on the big monitors just on the window. So like we name it this famous mute film, like gardener who erased and after put water on him, pouring water on himself. This is some sort of the loop that is going through the presence of spectator and watching it over the wall. And more or less it just, for me, was interesting, like a question of the voyeurism and how we perceive it, and if we like it, we dislike. So just we had a lot of also discussion, because some people always prefer to be just the witnesses, they just watch, and another part of the people is always participate. So just it's also very rich in involvement of public, how they react, and also it brings a lot of things to discussion. So just again, this is one of, for me, important point in installation, to start discuss different kinds of the problematics that does exist. Now this is one of the first installation that I've done. The next installation, it was done a little bit later, because this was sort of a response to space where it was and to the Kuwait war. Because at that time I was invited to work in the big fortress, Napoleonic fortress, Pentagon, and it was on the bench of our North Sea, and they asked to do something working with the environment. And at that time also we start more and more talking about virtuality. Virtuality, and this more or less it means that nothing is really become more and more unreal, and we are not really have some sympathy what we see, and just everything somehow, somewhere, but like we don't have this empathy towards other people. So it was installation that I've done. This is like a PlayStation. At that time I used also very interesting Apple tools. Apple tools is also very simple visual possibility to program. And here you see the image. It was filmed by the children that they are staying and waiting. And this is what you see. This is the just graphic palette with different kinds of the command, when you can push one or another command, like you see here, and the children more or less execute it. Very simple, but actually it became some sort of the very strange installation, because it was about what it is virtuality and what it is normally education, because I think education, this is one of the things that has to be supported by all the states, because if we people are not educated, don't have the access to do it, so they are very easily manipulated. And for me it was first of all about what we do with the children, how we treat them, what we propose to them, and second things also about virtuality, because most of the things now it's happening in virtual world, and we not really realized how sometimes it's create very big tragedy. And this was more or less like my response about how we had projection of the Kuwait war in all Europe. We had a non-stop explosion on the television, and after different kinds of the commentary of the television presentator saying, okay, so just everything is fine, we managed to liquidate a big enemy troop, and it was like not really about people, it was just about victory of some kinds of very powerful weapon. So this was why I did this installation. And as I told you, I'm always interested what is around us, and the virtuality, this is now, we are more and more in this world. I start asking myself this question much longer before, because for me it became already clear that the world is changing and we become also different. And one of the work that I've done, also quite provocative, this is 2004. The idea is what we see on the screen, is it real or this is unreal? So what we see on the screen, actually this is a cube, 4 sides cube, and we see the part of the body, naked body. In this case it was, and the installation is based on this. This is a woman dancer. And to reconstruct this body, we have to go around this cube, and there is interactive carpets. Interactive carpets I'm using already for many years, so just if you had possibility already see the installation that in a cell, just the first hall of the HayArt center. So this is interactive carpet. It gives me possibility to detect the presence of spectator. This is very simple. Interactive carpet, this is just a switch on, switch off. It gives signal. And this is 8 interactive carpet around it, and so spectator, when they stop on one of another carpet gives small sound. And this body, because we don't see their face, and I especially it was idea that I don't want to show face, because face we very quickly become some kinds of having some more empathy to this person or face. So just like there is no face, just body. So this body is just toning, following the sound of the carpet. And also this installation exists like performance and like installation. More or less presence of 8 spectators of 8 carpets more or less collapse the body inside. And for performance, there is a real person inside who is responding on the sound of the carpet. And more or less this is performance that it's quite heavy physically, because I'm working with professional for this. I'm working with the professional trained dancers. What is happening at the end, so just more or less it's like around maximum 25 minutes when the dancer is already completely exhausted, because public, what they see, they think that just it's totally virtual, and they don't feel like they're doing something that maybe hurts somebody or just can bring somebody some kinds of unpleasant things. And for performances, after when it's stopped like 20 minutes, we open the cube, it's very easy, and the dancer go out. So in this case, immediately the question about what is virtual, what we see, and if something behind it, if it's some truth. And because of this, for me, this installation was very important to make, and to make it also like performance, just to break this border. Because yes, definitely a lot of mass media is manipulated us and create their own world perception, just more or less giving us different kinds of the recipe, how we have to live and how we have perceived one or another things. But like if you do such kind of performances, this is always there is, I think, very interesting response from the people who are there. And just again, the question in mass media. Yeah. Well, another installation, it's more or less it's just not so crucial and cruel, but like for me it was interesting to do. This is installation, this is about like based on the game, and like you see here, this is the 99 carpets and 2 screen, and there is a projection on both screen, and each screen have its own personage who is responding of the walking spectator. Definitely there is one possibility that, for example, if spectator they go parallel, they can develop all script, because this is a script with a different ending, and we can see the film. Another possibility, this is like straight story, that one person can play all film, but there is a little bit thriller because there is some kinds of the murder at the end, so just to make people just go till the end. And also at the same time, this is like a game, but it's a game if we can do communication between us and just to watch the film, or we will more or less play in sense of just try to dominate. So this is one of personage, one screen, it's more or less Lynchian personage. This personage in all this constant metamorphose, and it's not speakable, just it's always in movement. And the second personage, this is intellectual from Godard film, because I'm very big fan of Godard, and really, if you didn't have possibility, really recommend you to see earlier Godard films, because this is really chef-d'oeuvre, piece of art, just like Les Chinoises or Pierre Le Fou, just like, and so just this period is extremely interesting, intellectually full of different kinds of the ideas, and very interesting, done like avant-garde of the 60s. So just and David Lynch, this is also another my favorite filmmaker, who is more or less recreating some kinds of the atmosphere. If Godard is talking about some sort of the intellectual involvement and the way how people existentialism live, Godard is bring us to atmosphere that we are mostly feeling. Lynch mostly feel it, but then just really falling intellectually, but it's inside of us. So this is 2 filmmakers, so just my homage for them, because I think they are one of the, for me, most important. And this was more or less like this, how it was looking in reality, and the carpet was a little bit covered, and the spectator had the possibility to play movie or just to do their own dominant game. So most what I've shown it in several festivals, mostly people try to dominate one each other. You see it immediately because you can completely erase the movie one another screen. So this is also again about our way to be together and to communicate, to create some sort of the relationship even on PlayStation like state. Well, it's also a little bit sort of the questioning about gaming. This another installation, also everything is interactive in sense of that I'm always trying to bring different kinds of the concept. And this installation for me, concept was totally not what I was thinking. What is happening that there is a cabin, and it's clearly written that this is the sort of the scan, brain scan, that it's scanning you, and normally what it's doing, putting on a picture your back thoughts. More or less it's also devoted to Tarkovsky Stalker, because I think for me it's also very interesting in the sense of how he constructed the film and what is film about. So nobody from these 3 persons who arrived to this very dangerous, made this dangerous travel and arrived to this room, nobody decided to make a wishes, because when we wish something, if we narrate it, we put in the words. But sometimes what we are putting in the words is not really what we wish for in Tarkovsky. And this is exactly about this, so just it like proposed to spectator when they are there, and it's just scanning their back thoughts and putting on the image. But also this was very small sequences, like 30 seconds, that I took from the different films, and it was like a phrase about life. It could be everybody, about birth, about death, about marriage, about different kinds of their bad or good relationship. And the effect was totally different than I was thinking. Because with installation, sometimes you never know how it's interpreted. So I was showing this installation first it was in Vinzavod, and suddenly somebody from curator calling me, just please, can you make me a favor to come to bring me inside of your installation? I said, like, oh, my installation is so popular, so just I said, why? Just it's very big line to get in, and some people sitting forever there. I said, okay, so just I came, and I see a big line, so I said, oh, what's happening? So just I put curator without line, just first saying this is the maintenance of the scan inside, and after I was starting asking people why it's so big line. And answer was really interesting. Answer was that, we get news that when you sit in this cabin, it gives you future. Some kinds of the crystal. So they go there and they receive future forecast, and sometimes happy, without happy. So I said, okay, I didn't think about this interpretation, because from the beginning the name of this scanner was Stalker, it was not about it. So after I showed it in Berlin, and when you show it in sometimes always like HayArt, for example, center, you have all these spectators who coming back. So I showed in Concert Art in Berlin, and next year was invited for another exhibition with another installation. I came, and suddenly I started having a lot of people coming to me and saying, thank you very much. I said, okay, for what? And okay, somebody managed to get in university, somebody managed to have some kinds of the very good job proposal, and some of them even managed to have children. So it was like, wow, magic. So again, interactive installation sometimes is not what you are thinking they are. They live their own life, and sometimes it's not life that you can predict. So very simple installation. How it's done is just computer. And a lot of very, very small phrases. It's just because we don't need anything to narrate, and since just you watch it. And after this is the more or less distance detector, that at the moment when you stabilize, you sit properly, it shows you only one movie, because it's only one. So first of all, it's more or less say, please come down, feel comfortable, start movie, very short, and after saying thank you very much to take this great tryout in our experience, and just you have to leave because your scan is finished. So but sometimes these people sit in for 5 minutes expecting to have something better, they didn't. So because of this, it was huge line. So it seems it's always like this, because I don't know, it's not my initiative to say that it's forecast the future. So this is about this installation. Another installation also, it was just installation that I showed just after that I showed you previous in this the same place. This is about art market. It's very simple. Also putting in the question how it works normally, because art market, it's not something that totally innocent. that there is rules, there is acceptance, not acceptance, there is very difficult for artists, if there is artists between you, you know, so just to come and be recognized, it's not so easy, it's working on a more or less some sort of the idea, and here I've done different movies, and this is interactive, totally interactive, and this movie is working depending how many and what kinds of the spectator are here. So there is simple spectator, there is art critic, curator, collector, and museum. So just if there is all these 5 elements occupied, it's very easy, and you hear just all the work going, and there is some sort of the, like in auction, one or another images there really go up, and you saw how much it costs. If it will be only one spectator, normally it does not really influence interactivity. It has to be helped by somebody. So this is about art market. So just like differently, we can say everything is much more complicated, but if we will do some kinds of the simplification and bringing it to the installation, it's could work like this, and in general it's more or less not far from the reality. So like I told you that I'm always interested what's happening at that moment around me, and I'm trying to bring it in my installation to the proposition to the public. Well, another installation, this is like a drama house, and this is based on possible reaction of the people if there is somebody, intruder, somebody who is just coming and push the buttons, like you see here. And these buttons is just normal doorbell. When you ring in these buttons, you activate a different movie with different persons who are inside of this window. And it's totally different reaction because it was filmed with different possibilities. So just I will show a small video quickly. Yeah, it looks like this. So more or less it's create different. It's technical explanation. Okay, so just. So every window, this is more or less like 12 movie behind it, and different reaction links how you go to the doorbell. Because sometimes you do once and you go on loop. If you start to be more insistent, you start really irritate person is always looking through the window to see who came. And also there is a composition between the doorbells that you can bring several people in the same time, and everybody have their attitude towards you, and even some of them just they call them police. So this is a lot of personage and also a lot of different combination between interactivity and how you more or less develop in the script. And also this is an idea about how we, like a spectator, if we can create again some sort of interactive cinema. Because also interactive, it means that we have to be agree between us what kinds of the version of the film we will see. And it's already in the, I think it's 70s was first tryout in cinema. when they showed some film, and after the spectator, they had a proposition, I think in Czechoslovakia at that time, spectator can vote for different kinds of the development of the script, and normally you can see the film till the end, following the majority who voted for one or another. Well, actually, it's working with a very big difficulties, because just majority then in minority start struggle about the ending. So, but it was also some sort of the idea how we can develop interactive cinema in the future. Or we always will stay alone, just in face our own screen, what is happening more and more, and watching one or another film. So another, I don't know if you had the possibility to watch now exhibition around, because I have also two work here. No? Have you been around already? Because one of the work is here, so just you can try it, and also this is work, it's very simple, it looks very simple, but it's just, it's question on different things, like mirror memory, it's now here. And the mirror memory, it's about questioning about our presence. So it means that we are always thinking that if we are somewhere, nothing happened. No, it's always happened. So for me, the idea is to say that we always leave traces. Sometimes we can find these traces, for example, just we leave these traces, we leave some kinds of, I don't know, plastic bag, or some kinds of garbage, or some kind of letter, or some kinds of, I don't know. But it's not only this, also our traces, this is interaction with the people, some kinds of the nice conversation, history, Dino, something that's slow. So we visiting something, and it influences, and it still gives some effect on what is happening. So this is installation more or less about that we leave traces, even we are not aware about it, but it is like this. So you can see it downstairs, and just to leave your own trace. When you step on a carpet, what is happening that the carpet just take, this is like a button, switch on, switch off, so it's immediately start interact, and if you stay more than 10 seconds, your image will be recorded and after to put in database. If you stay less, it will not be recorded, but every next spectator who is coming, they are meeting different kinds of the people who passed before them. And this is also one of the installations that is growing, because when I install this installation, normally there is only my image or some people who are testing that it's working, and at the end installation it's just all people, local people who came to see. And we did it, for example, in Italy, and it was very nice because all people of the villages around, old people, they came because it's easy. They came there and they were very happy after passing by every day to see themselves and all their neighbors, and some kinds of their also local memory. It's not very complicated, but sometimes it's very touching that what people leave you. Sometimes they really leave some kind of the keys or something. It's just some people also, it's very funny because sometimes people, if they feel totally alone, two people give big kiss to each other, and it's everything is recorded. So like, okay, so just it's very funny because after later people see it. So just that we like to be in it with actors and being on the stage. So this is installation you can try out later to see, to be part of it. Okay, so just that's another installation that I did on the idea. I won't show you everything because it's a lot of what I'm doing. This is just the idea about our time and that we are always running. So just, I don't know what about you, but I'm very busy all the time. So just, I always have to do 100 things in the same time. I don't have time really sometimes call people that I like and close to me. Just, so And this is about this, because normally what you see here, again, I love interactive carpet. So you see interactive carpet and a very big, beautiful stained glasses with all sides there. And if person is staying on it, what has happened, just video, it's a little bit like a lot of people saying, man, this is sadistic installation, but I don't think so. Because if you stay on this carpet 4 minutes, you see all the transformation. So, and transformation is happening on the stained glasses, very, very slow. Normally, we don't see it because this is links to our way how our eye perceive the changes in the image. So there is a very, very, very long metamorphose. And if you get out from the carpet, there is a big clouds that's passing by. But if you stay till the end, and so just it's like you see, you just will torture you during 4 minutes. I will just, so all the saints become the cosmonaut, and after they fly away. So this is the end of the installation. So you find yourself just in face of the very beautiful stained glasses, but without nothing. So this is more or less, it's about our way just to stop time and just to watch something, and that it's not only depends on the science, but it depends on you. And this is installation about just let's stop time and give us this possibility to do something, but not really running. Yes, this is, it's not interactive because it was my installation and performance. I've done during 7 days the performance in Montenegro, because we are always talking about ecology. And we always saying that we have to change something, we don't change something, but we talk about it. And for me, I think I will get this subject from another side. Just I already propose everybody trying to find another possibility to uninhabit another place. And I thought it will be, for me it was easy, because Montenegro is very warm water, so I was trying to adapt myself being underwater without really possibilities like a scaphandre or something, but just with a tube, and to do some kinds of the very simple things. So like this is first day, very simple things that normally we practice every day in our life. This is first day I was trying to prepare the space just in front of the camera, to clean it, and so I was always every day I changed the clothes. It was very nice. So all the people of the village Montenegro, they were very astonishing of this person going down the water, and I always doing different action like cleaning, trying to sit in front of the camera, trying to keep air inside of this. So, but results every day was exactly the same. So it was full failure. I never managed to stay in the water, under the water, more than 15 minutes, and after I was losing the tube, just something disappeared, and I thought also to be provocative, I think 7th day, so just creation, so just I will have a rest. And I think if I have rest, maybe I will do striptease. So just I put a lot of things on me, and I'm trying to get one after another. So just at the end it finished. I didn't manage to do it. My stagiaire, who was diving to get up all the clothes, so also we nearly were completely under the water sinking because we didn't manage, because it's very difficult even to do striptease when you have a rest under the water. So this is again question, and let's just thinking about environment now. Then after trying to be under the water or on a Mars or some another planet, so it's always bringing our actual question in my installation that I'm trying, and also to make it funny, because just it's people are laughing, but the question is still there, and you can make different kinds of the dialogue. about it. I know that, and I will show you one of the latest work. And also just I will explain what it is, because like I was working a lot with the technology. I work using different kinds of the material, sometimes quite polluted material. And for one of my installation, I will not talk because it will take a lot of time. You can always also to see my site. I have this installation. This is some interactive sculpture, links to the internet, and each sculpture more or less introduce to you different kinds of the things. One, this is about what we like, about our desire. Another, what we don't like, about our fear. And another, this is in a more or less nature. It's responding to the pollution, environment, and everything links to the directly to the internet and different kinds of the newspaper. So more or less when you're inside, what is happening that if word love, for example, had a lot of repetition in different newspaper, I mean internet newspaper and magazines, so it will be a lot of light. So if it's only one, it will be one line. So just all this sculpture, they live their own life. So just they give you real information. For example, when it was shown in Italy, we didn't notice anything, but suddenly all our sculptures shown, just one of the sculptures about fear, always showing earthquake, because we didn't know about it, but it was earthquake, and all media was talking about it, but we didn't notice. So, and I give possibility just for people, because also desire and what we desire and what we fear, this is also very important motors how to make people to do something. Just if you make people a little bit fear about this and after good about this, so just you manipulate them. And I give for people possibility just to go and to change this. So there is an anemometer. Anemometer, it's when you blow in it, it's not about speaking, it's not microphone, it's just you have to blow. And with your breath, you change the light pattern and the word become nonsense. And so for me also this is something very important that nowadays of virtual reality, now if we can struggle against mass media and what is happening, how we more or less what we are learning, this is just to be present physically. So what is happening quite a lot in France now and in different countries, because this is only one way say that we do exist. But I use a lot of polluted material like LEDs, and my last work, this is again, I decided to do recycling of all my installation. So if I have to change all these LEDs, I don't throw them out, I just do these maps. You see LEDs is dying, but it doesn't matter for me, it's also another object. I don't throw out them, and it's still I can have some. This is Manhattan with a light, have some switch it on, switch it off, and so this is a village in Marano. It's all these places when I've been. So I do this recycling painting. I name it light painting, and I never throw out any electronic material. So I do a lot of recyclage. Okay, so just I see that we have 10 minutes for a question. If you would like to ask me a question, I will be pleased to talk with you. But in all cases, what I would like to say, new technology is a very powerful tool, but it's like a brush or like a knife or something that's like for sculpture that we use, or for painting. It's just if you have a concept to bring, this is very interesting to use. And also I'm teaching in very classical academy and giving course on multimedia, so just with all history of multimedia, how it was developing slowly, and it's also we can date it at the middle of the 19th century, some first traces, and after avant-garde like futurism. So just like people who are studying painting, I don't know, just drawing, sculpture, they can continue doing it, and they can also to reinforce their art with the new media, because it gives you a lot of possibility, much Sometimes it gives you possibility more or less to bring your visitor, spectator close to your ideas. So if you have some questions, I will be happy to answer, because after we have performance also started at 7 o'clock of our...
I realized that you like also observing how people interact with your installations, right? I realized that you like observing how people interact with your installations. You like watching what's going on while people are around the installation. But do you also, is it important for you also to be at the side and talk to them? Do you try to communicate with the visitors?
Definitely. Like I told you, for example, it's quite interesting because this is especially open end. Sometimes I'm staying for several days, so because it's very interesting to know what people are thinking. And like with installation with this kind of stalker, for me it's also was interesting how we can interpret things, because it's something that you never know, and after sometimes it's bringing a new idea and somehow another thoughts about it, definitely, because I think interactive installation gives you also this possibility that people are thinking immediately. It's not like slowly contemplation, but because if you do some action, you're already questioning yourself, and so this is exchange between spectator and artist. I think it's very interesting.
I just want to react for your installation about slowing time and just see the changing picture of the carpet. It's very deeply react to me, because it's really, for me personally, I'm in a hurry and busy, and this is what I'm looking for sometimes when I visit such galleries or some exhibitions, something. So thank you so much.
Well, okay, so just like it's, I'm here. So just if you want me ask some question after, just like talking tête-à-tête, it's fine. And now I'm finishing, because after now we have another performance. And thank you very much for coming and being here.